Come on, you guys. Let's go. Now, I have to say, man, this is exactly what I was praying for today because today is actually my birthday. So, not only did I get a 3-0 win, bro, I got a clean sheet on my birthday. I saw a performance, a rare performance, which was a combination of a manager's perfect setup to nullify the opposition, with the combination also being the players' performances on top being at an elite level. For myself, this was one of the few games I've seen in 2 years where I can safely and confidently say this was an elite level performance. We made Aston Villa look like a championship team. We ruined all their best aspects whilst playing some of the best football we've seen this season at home. I've been saying this for a while, but honestly, I have to say this again. I have to eulogize him again, but Enzo Maresca is proving every single week to be one of the most inspired decisions we've seen under Clear Lake Capital. He is the best combination of some of the best things I've seen from Chelsea managers of the past. He's a manager that constantly tweaks the setup and system depending on the opposition we're playing against, which makes us even harder to figure out and to nullify. He is a man manager that gets the best out of the players confidence-wise. He plays these players in their best positions. For God's sake, we heard what Levi Cole was saying before the game, saying right now the whole squad feels like we can take on any team, we can take on any man. We are playing some of our best football, and Maresca is the right guy to bring out that type of confidence and that arrogance out from these players, man. And on top of that as well, we are playing some great football. He is managing the squad perfectly. Like, this is not an easy job that he's taken over. He barely has any top level experience in the game. And to think that this is like his second season in the game, like his second proper season in this game, he's managing us with all the pressure and expectations placed on him, and he is just perfectly managing the situation. I don't think every manager could do this. I'm keeping things absolutely real, and I have to start this review off by just completely giving tons of praise to Enzo Maresca, because he's finally shown me that, wow, this project now is actually taking off. It's showing some legs right now. And it really feels like it won't be that long until we are really ready to challenge with this Premier League title. Let's see how the season goes. But my friends, man, this game today, it was just the perfect performance. I'm so happy we kept a clean sheet as well. Thank God. This performance deserved that, just to reflect the utter dominance over Aston Villa. And I have to say, it comes down to some very interesting tweaks we're seeing from Maresca. I think the most interesting one, the most exciting one for me, was Moises Caicedo playing the inverted fullback role. Now, as we know, at Leicester City, we saw Hamza Chowdhury and a few other players, midfield players occupying the right-back role because they invert in midfield to create that pivot alongside the additional midfield player. And a lot of us were already kind of speculating on the fact that actually Moises Caicedo can fulfill this role. A few times at Brighton, he even played as a right back. And in this system, where there's clear instructions and ideas, it just felt like a natural type of, continuation of Moises Caicedo's game. And I have to say, listen, Palmer won man of the match today. There's a few other shouts as well, but for myself, the most low-key performance of this game came from Moises Caicedo. Every single thing we did good originated from Caicedo. That was either him breaking up the play, or most importantly, it was him being the first guy to kickstart the attacks for every single goal we scored today. And what I really find fascinating about this inverted midfield role is that when you're essentially in that right back position, you have all the time and space to pick the positions you want to take up when you then invert in midfield. And it makes it hard for the opposition to really figure out, okay, which man goes onto Moises Caicedo. By the time they do that, that's opening up even more spaces between the lines for the other attacking players, either out wide in a Neto or for a Cole Palmer between the lines. It's such an interesting, tactical variation that we've never really seen before at this football club. It's the first time we are seeing this under Maresca, and I feel like I've seen the promise in this throughout the whole season. I think tactically Gusto has been playing that role really well. A lot of times we're seeing Gusto being the third man who's free, who can carry the ball into space and take the game to the opposition. But the only thing is that Gusto, quality-wise, just isn't able to sustain playing that way, really. And he kind of broke down a lot of attacks because that's not his game at heart. But with Moises Caicedo, I thought defensively, this guy was doing bits at right back. But most importantly, on the ball, facilitating the play, kick-starting attacks, combining with his teammates, going on some great underlaps, overlaps. Bro, for myself, I would probably give man of the match to Moises Caicedo because I think he played one of the biggest tactical parts in helping us dominate Aston Villa today. So big credit goes out to him. But bro, on top of that, you're looking at the other tweaks Maresca's making. Little small things like how we completely disrupted Emi Martinez. He's one of the best sweeper keepers in Europe. And how many times was we forced into making mistakes? Having Lavia and Caicedo, and Cucurella being tasked to be proactive, hunt down Aston Villa in their half to stop them from counter-attacking. Yeah, a few times Villa had a few counter-attacks. You're not going to nullify every single counter-attack. But both the goals we scored in that first half came from forcing Aston Villa to make mistakes in their own half, winning back possession, and we saw that with the first goal scored today. Cucurella, excellent challenge against Villagin to win that ball off him. Of course, great cross then finds Nico Jackson, and great instinctive, confident, in form, left-footed finish from Nicholas Jackson. And bro, Cucurella, shout out to him, one of the most improved players in this entire league. I think he needed that confidence of, knowing his worth and feeling his game again in this summer's Euros, because since then, he has not looked back, and he looks like one of the top defensive talents in this country. Credit goes to him. I've been critical before. I was softening my stance as I saw his improvements near the second half of last season. But as I keep saying on this channel, I'm too old to be having agendas against players. I want to see you perform well. If you step up, I'll be the first one to praise you and let everyone know. Pay attention to this guy. Credit to Cucurella, but again, great finish from Nicholas Jackson. And in games like this against Villa, ideally, you want to score the first goal. You want to make sure that you have another advantage tactically in terms of managing the game in your favor. And from that moment on, it felt like there was just so much confidence in our performance. Villa really struggled to play out from the back. I think the only moment they had against us in that first half came from a slight mistake from Messi Fofana, which allowed Ollie Watkins in goal. But again, it's like his first touch in like 10, 15 minutes. He wasn't ready. He didn't set himself up perfectly, and he wasn't confident enough to bury that chance against Robert Sanchez, who did react quickly and close the space down. But that was like the only slight mistake we made. After that, it was just total domination, moving the ball from left to right. Caicedo stepping up to be that third man in midfield. You're seeing how we're combining with our wide guys, Neto and Sancho. He's got Palmer on the right, Enzo Fernandez down that left-hand side. We really stopped Villa's fullbacks getting forward today, and we really nullified all their threat in midfield. So I guess it was no surprise that eventually the second goal comes our way, and I have to say this was another excellent goal. Again, it comes from winning the ball back in Villa's half. And then I love the pass from Cole Palmer. He plays the ball to the right foot for Enzo, and Enzo, who's in superb form these past 4 or 5 games now, he's either getting goals or getting assists. I love that with the ball coming behind him, he sets himself up perfectly, just receive it from behind him to flick it in front, and then excellent technique and decision making then to use the outside of his boot to hit that first time away from the keeper. It's the second outside the boot finish now we've seen in consecutive games, and it just really highlights the confidence you're seeing, because we can't forget that Enzo is a bit of a Trivela king and a Trivela master. We haven't necessarily seen him use that technique left, right, and center like what he used to do during the earlier parts of his career. I hope it comes back as one of the best parts of his game. But yeah, excellent finish. And just seeing how Maresca's been able to use Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo together in midfield, playing in optimum positions as well too. That's the key thing here. Using them in their optimum roles and their optimum positions. I mean, is it any surprise that Villa just couldn't handle it? They couldn't fight against it. Completely nullified them in midfield. Honestly, this is a top elite level performance we saw today. Of course, we're taking advantage of an Aston Villa who only played in the Champions League. They picked up a hard-fought point against Juventus, but we have the advantage of having a squad that's so complete Okay, complete's a very strong word. Forget that I said that, but a squad this strong that we can essentially use two different lineups in Europe and domestically. And you see the advantage we have now when it comes to playing these games in the Prem. Back in the day, when we had European games, it was hard for us to then maintain that momentum 3-4 days later when you have another domestic game to get ready for. Not anymore now. We can use two different lineups, and we have two lineups in peak form and peak fitness. And I think this is why there's a perfect balance right now. And I think everything's working perfectly in our favor. I'm going to discuss a few more things before I wrap this review up. But of course, let's discuss the third goal we saw today from Cole Palmer. Yeah, I was waiting for this guy to get back on the score sheet. Of course, gets an assist today, gets a goal. And I just love the goal that we saw. Noni Madueke, in my opinion, I think he's still our best right winger. I thought Neto was very strong today down both flanks. It's great having a guy like this in our squad. As I said in my transfer review, this was probably the best signing we made this window. I thought he was putting in lots of dangerous balls to the far post, playing down that right-hand side. But I think one of the reasons why I'm always going to edge out for Noni is that him and Palmer just have this instinctive type of relationship and understanding of each other's game, positions, spaces, and how to get the best out of each other. Now, Noni's been criticised a bit unfairly at times. Of course, listen, some of the end products hasn't been there. But my thing's been, yes, we should expect improvements there, but let's not dismiss and write off every other benefit that he also brings to the team. It was kind of reminding me of how we would treat a Willian, where, listen, at times the end product could be iffy, but what he was producing in terms of balance for the team was just that important that you couldn't just dismiss this guy's game, because we wouldn't be the same without what he was bringing. But I did feel like at times, one of the reasons why maybe Noni suffered a little bit was that Cole Palmer was now playing down the left flank and they weren't combining as much together. So it was a nice reminder to see what they could do, because every game this season that Palmer and Madueke have been combining down that right-hand side, they bring a threat, man. It's a goal or it's an assist. I think one of the stats showed before the game that I think they were up there leading in terms of creative stats and figures, in terms of teammate combinations. And it's really no surprise. I mean, that disguised ball from Noni Madueke, the guy's a smart player. It's not just a head down, run to the flanks, pull out the same bait moves. Great ball, disguise, completely just fooled Aston Villa's shape then. And Cole Palmer, perfect first touch, takes his shot early and he goes for the curling effort top left bins. He deserved that goal today for his performance. And it just was, it was the perfect way to end this game, to really just reflect the pure domination that we saw today. Aston Villa, interestingly, last season, when we came back near the end to make it 2-2, that was kind of like the Antonio Conte type of switch up, new lease of life now, where it kind of showed us, okay, now that we reverted to this 3-2-4-1 system, it does seem like things make a lot more sense playing this way. And since that game, we haven't really looked back, and I felt like we've been on a very high level. And I just love this type of symmetry we're seeing, where we're playing against Villa again today, and this time we are showing that we are a level above them. And I think above most teams right now. It really is an exciting time to be a fan. I'm really hoping we can continue this type of form that we're showing. And you just think that with the manager we have in control right now, I mean, he really is bringing the arrogance. He really is bringing the confidence, the quality, and everything into this football club right now. So massive credit goes out to Maresca and everyone else. So my friends, I think it's nice today that I'm able to celebrate with a 3-0 win. I'm a simple guy. I don't need too much when I'm celebrating a new year of life. But yeah, honestly, this was a perfect performance in so many aspects. A game where everyone was at a 7 out of 10. No one really underperformed in this game today, which is always a strong sign of how, players are feeling their confidence in each other, in the manager, and in the system as well. And long may it continue, because we're going to have a very busy December period. But you just feel like out of all the Decembers we've seen in recent years, I think we've never been better equipped now to really potentially do something this month and maybe start to push clear a little bit in the league and in competitions in the cups too. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Share your thoughts and opinions. Who was your top performer? What was your favorite moment? Let us know how you're feeling right now. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you all soon. Cool.